Good morning. For those of you who prefer to see the live version of this tired old man who's ate entirely too much food over the last week or so. So anyhow, I just had turkey again yesterday too. Jesus, part of the turkey I had to cook for the party that I didn't go to. I've done that before. I used to do a lot of catering and stuff on my own. Can I tell you that? I started out employment-wise working for, let's see, I started out delivering magazines, selling magazines, delivering newspapers, working in the candy store as a shorter crook. Then I went into working for grocery stores as a produce manager. I stopped doing that when the guys started cheating me out of my bonuses. And I went to work for Chrysler Credit Corporation. That's what they call a field rep back in those days. I did field collection work. I did physical audits on dealerships. That was fun, considering all the dealerships were controlled by some really not so nice people, at least the ones Chrysler had. And what else did I do? Repossess cars for them. I loved that. I was good at it. There's nobody better than me. And then skip tracing, and then I went into the restaurant business. I started out in the Red Bar in 1973 in a place called Rusty Scupper, which at the time was the fifth busiest bar in the United States, according to Time magazine. The one I was in, it was unbelievable experience and drove me into serious alcoholism for a while and what have you. And I tell you what, if I wanted to find a certain type of woman, I found him and I took him home that night. It was just an unbelievable experience, a lot of fun. I enjoyed that. And then I went into, I left there, bounced around because I was a little old for and people were leery about me. And then I went to work as a chef for a while and then a restaurant manager. My last official job was with a restaurant called Cafe Rustica, owned by Teresa and Johnny, journalist. Can't pronounce the last name, but anyhow, Teresa and Johnny were friends of mine. I worked for them. I became good friends with them. They were afraid to hire me because I knew too much. And I said, "Look, lady," I said, "Teresa, I'm just looking for a job. I don't want to be anybody's boss. You want to ask me a question, I'll give you my opinion, but I'm not going to tell you what to do. All right, because I'm tired of doing that. If I wanted to do that, I'd stay in management, find a bar to manage. Didn't want to do that." And I stayed there, and then I went back. Then I started working for a food service outfit. I managed an area that worked for some notorious people in the pharmaceutical industry, uh, real legit pharmaceuticals and whatnot. And they paid me a ton of money just basically because I was honest, and I didn't tell anybody. I didn't see anything, first of all, but I didn't tell anybody what I saw. But I actually never saw anything because I probably would have told somebody. Anyhow, they just got $1 billion fine and everything. They were the ones that developed OxyContin. And no, I didn't use OxyContin. I was out of the drug tasting, drug using, whatever you want to call it, because I had an addictive personality and I didn't want to, cigarettes were bad enough at the time. You know, I think I had stopped smoking and drinking by the time I went to them. And that, and then I left then and I started my own cleaning service and I ran that for a few years and then I retired down here to Columbia, thanks to the cleaning service. But that's life, you know. Social Security is my source of income right now. I wish I could have waited a couple more years. I should have. I could have bought something down here instead of renting it, and maybe I would have been. Maybe we both would have been better off, my wife and I, now than we are right now. But you know, that's life. You never really know. You can't predict the future. You Most of our decisions are impulsive to some sort of degree, and we either succeed or fail based upon those impulses. My wife is getting ready to go to the doctor. Good thing I have nice sister-in-law. I tell you what, she saves me every day. It's amazing. So anyhow, that's why I end up cooking for people sometimes. You know, my wife doesn't like my cooking. Well, first of all, she likes everything burnt, so I can't. I can't cook that way. So I don't cook for her anymore, except breakfast, and I cook for other people. I cook big things like roast turkeys and stuff like that. That's just what I do. I used to make a nice pork roast. She loved it, but now she doesn't want it anymore. Hey, not my problem. Hey, turkey she still likes. Can't get ham down here. You can get every pork product on the face of the earth down here. I mean, pork is more common than steak or chicken. You just can't get a nice uh, ham. You know what I'm talking about? You just can't get that down here. I don't know why. I get it in Brazil, or some other countries, but not down here. Not even the American style company we had that Price Smart, which is sort of like Walmart, I think, that they have the members only products. I think Walmart's a part of that. And anyhow, their big problem is they don't deliver, and they never keep stocking the same products, all the time. I like to buy this chopped canned chicken, and they'd have it for 2 months, and then they wouldn't have it again for 2 years, something like that. Yeah, that's the way that all these companies are down here like that. Pet food companies are like that. You find a pet food for your dog, and the next thing you know, they're out of it because they only carry certain brands. So I guess it's like when I was working in the supermarket chain, they used to come in and take care of you to get a shelf space, for their products. That was another reason I got out of that business because I was going to hurt some manager very badly because of that. You know, I had products that sold that were moved out of the area of availability into a more awkward part of the displays and whatnot. I did so that I could sell the garbage that they wanted me to sell. But that's the way it is. All right, listen up. They're short. My live videos are shorter because I just don't have anything. I talk myself out in my other videos. The other video was just 20 minutes, so now I'm like looking at not over a half hour of standing around here talking to you people. You know, and nobody's listening to me. There's nobody showing up there because usually I had some people show up the other day, but not today. And I understand because I'm running way way late. That's life. That's one of the reasons I don't want to do a podcast because podcasts you pretty much have to forget it's not that expensive when you break it down. I have a lot of the equipment already, so I don't really have to worry about that. But what happens with a podcast is you got to be there you do it at a specific time. And that's what live videos are all about. You have to do them at a specific time. I'm not a specific person. I'm retired. I don't give a shit. You know, uh, one of the things my wife and my family used to complain about when we would go out and we'd be walking around is I'd be strolling, and they'd be we're going here, going there, going here, going there, and I said, "Yo, why? I'm not. I don't have a job. I don't have any place I have to be. You know, I walk around the supermarket just to walk around the supermarket to see what's new. And so I buy stuff sometimes when I do that, or I go find something I like there and I see it, and then I go find a cheaper price for it or something like that. Online or something like that. But that's what I do. I'm in no hurry to go anywhere. My wife can't walk with me. Could never walk with me because she said, "You're too slow." Well, now she can't walk. I could crawl and be faster than she is right now, but that's not fair. It really isn't. All right, everybody, that's it for me today. Hope you have a good one. We'll be back tomorrow. Talk some pro football. Make my predictions on the college playoffs after this too. Excuse me. Anyhow, yeah. So we'll see you tomorrow. Hey, find that subscribe button and hit it, huh? I don't know whether he subscribes to live videos, but you can subscribe to my channel. All right, and that's how you find me. So take it easy, and I'll see you mañana.